feeling it. It's Friday, February 12th, closer to Valentine's Day, and I'm here with your pick a card tarot reading for everything that's going to go on with your love life today, because Friday, the ruling chakra is your throat chakra, and the ruling planet is Venus. So Venus. And why did the spiritual crash test dummy do a big howl at the beginning of this reading? Well, because guess what? Coyote has shown up for you all, and the message is so inspiring. I just get, oh my gosh, it's so inspiring. I am lit up from the flow up to share this with you all today, because there is something going on out there with you, you wild packers, and it has to do with creating and getting really through the illusions and to the truth of what you want in your life, but more what you want to create for yourself, for the world. It's about creating. And the reason that I say that, Coyote has told me this morning, well, number one, they're mad at me. I haven't been to their sanctuary that I go to in a while, so I need to get back there. But number two, I'm being told that Coyote, the words I'm looking for that they're feeding me is Coyote has come as an emissary for all animals who hunt at night. That's cats, that's wolves, that's insects, reptiles, whatever it is that hunts at night. They're all banding together and speaking through Coyote to you, or Coyote, or however you pronounce it, wherever you're from. And the reason for that is when you think about the solitary nature of nighttime, it gets very quiet, wherever you are in the world. If it's nighttime for you, everything just kind of settles down and calms down. And, except for Vegas and New York City, right? So it's just such a big call and a big energy for you not to sit in the dark, but to use that nighttime hunting medicine and energy and symbolism to get very quiet with yourself. And the biggest challenge that I'm being told that you have, and it makes sense. I mean, I have this challenge as well, but it's like a big challenge. It's being pointed out today, is that you don't, even with the pandemic and being on lockdown and whatever, you're not spending enough time with just you alone, not alone or lonely, but in a place that's very quiet, very meditative, where you can focus on what you want to create. Case in point. I have people ask me every day about creating classes. I've been teaching classes for 9,000 years. I should have had online classes going 5 years ago. 5 years, y'all, 5 years. I don't know what it is. I don't even know what it is that's been keeping me from doing that. They're all in my head. I have the tech to do it. I got a million people that would support me to do it. And so I'm having to do that this weekend. I'm going to sit with myself, my real self, and I'm going to see if I can't push past the illusion of whatever's cockamamie nonsense is going on in my head. And I'm going to clear my throat chakra, just like that howl I did at the beginning. I highly recommend that, or whatever animal that you identify with. Well, let me say this. So when this exercise, this ritual that I'm talking about, that's coming through in the reading today, this is about identifying with the animal, preferably Coyote, because coyotes have shown up today, and it's throat chakra day. That you make their sounds, you emulate them, you do an impression of them, and just get that kind of their energy, their medicine. Call them forth as a power animal today, or whenever you want to work with this medicine, right? So call them forth as a power animal to clear your throat chakra, so that you can tell yourself the truth when you see it. Not see it, but see it. See it in your gut. You see it, right? And then you marry that medicine with the intention of what you want to create, and just ask to be shown what the dang problem is. Like, what's your problem? I don't know. I got a problem. A challenge, a block, whatever. I got it too. I'm with y'all. And so that's that is, I can't, oh my gosh, I'm telling y'all, it has lit me up from the flow up, because something or a number of things that you all are going to create or want to implement, creating in your life that will affect, maybe it just affects you and your family or just you, but whatever this thing is you want to create, oh, it may be you. It may not be an outside of you project. Like maybe you want to open a mosaic studio, right? If you do, then you can, well, I'll schedule Skype time with you and I'll pay you to figure out why I've got an entire room full of mosaic things that include one piece of tile or one piece of glass to nothing. I'm working on it. So, to be shown that, because maybe what you're constructing is you. Maybe that thing that you want to create is you. And I understand that sounds repetitive, but think about it. When you create something, when you create yourself in a conscious way, whatever you want to do or be, think of how that affects the world. And whatever you want to create outside of yourself is not really outside of yourself, but you get where I'm going with this, right? Maybe you want to open a spa. Maybe you want to do transcription work for the medical community or whatever. But in this thing, and it's like you're being challenged to just take this message and then just sit in quiet, do your coyote howl, do your Black Panther growl, do your, your big cat roar or whatever, maybe you pick an animal, pick an insect. Fish are a little tougher. I don't know that there's any fish or amphibian or anything that really just hunts at night. You'd have to look that up. But I just know that when you go into this ritual and you clear that throat chakra by calling forth, invoking the power of that animal's voice, that animal's medicine, that animal's energy, and then you just sit in quiet and you think, okay, what am I supposed to be creating? And maybe you already know that, but maybe you just need affirmation that you're on the right track. First thing that pops into your mind, don't think about anything else. I don't care if it's either like, I'd like to have a gourmet ice cream truck, or, I'd like to do snow cones at, fairs. It can be anything, right? Anything. But there's a thing, man, this just like creative energy that's pinging off of you guys today. Holy guacamole. And I'm going out for Mexican tonight. I'll have a margarita for you. So, do that. And the other thing that I'm being told, oh, this I don't know how this is going to help you, but coyotes run with their tails down. Dogs run with their tails up. And wolves run with their tails out. Or it's vice versa. It might be that wolves run with their tails up and dogs run with their tails out. I don't remember, but I bring that up because for the life of me, I couldn't find out any reason. And I looked and 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 looked. And I couldn't find why coyotes run with their tails down. But at first glance, that would mean a subservient thing. When your dog tucks their tail under their legs, when you see wolves do that kind of thing, that's a scared move, that's a subservient move. But it's very natural for coyote when they're running. And that could mean running away from something, or it could mean running towards something. So you're being asked to figure out why that is, to research it and see if you can find the answer. And whatever that answer is, that's what's meaningful for you at that moment. Now, as a collective, because I've asked 100 times to be told, and I keep getting a shut door, a shut door, a shut door. And that's always the sign in my readings when it's like, that's the person, the people who are getting the message. However it unfolds, it's the unfolding of it. And getting to that conclusion or finding that answer, the journey is the most important part. And so take that for what you will. And I know that will resonate with some of you, and some of you will be like, what is she talking about? Believe me, I ask myself that question quite a bit. What the heck am I talking about? Now, moving on with Coyote, they play very, 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 very heavily into Native American animal symbolism. And I pick a myth. I've read it. I'm sure there are many more out there, but pick a Native American story that I could get my hands on. I've read it, but I've also read those tales from all over the world, all the way back as far as ancient as I could pull those writings from, so that I could get to be in deeper relationship with animals, globally, and find out what the experience was and the thoughts and the feelings of each culture are globally. Now, the thing that brings up in this reading, crazily enough, is not a lot. Once every few months, somebody will accuse me of, cultural appropriation, thinking that spirit animals belong only to Native Americans. Not true. And so there's something, just so you know, the reason that I do all of that research is I am obsessed with cultures around the world, because we are all connected. We've all been a Bedouin. We've all been a samurai warrior. We've all, theoretically, I can't prove it to you, but I really believe that. And if you haven't been a samurai warrior yet, or you haven't been a Bedouin, you're going to be one at some point. I believe that. Can't prove it. I believe it. But here's where I'm going with that. By my learning about those things and doing my hardest, my very best to search out every culture's thoughts and feelings and myths and legends and fables, about all different animals, it's my way of honoring those cultures to be able to bring that to you all. That whole big lead up is coming to this. There's got to be something very specifically Native American, and I've never said this before in any reading. My agreement with Spirit is that I will never filter what Spirit has to say. Never, 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 never. That's not my place. I'm not that smart. I don't have the accumulated wisdom and hindsight and foresight that Source does, or Spirit does, or I'm one little pea brain down here in Gainesville, Florida. So I never, ever, and I believe that has strengthened my relationship with Spirit, in that I don't hijack or make decisions for Spirit. I'm just a conduit. I try to be as hollow a bone as I can be. Where all this is going for you, though, is there's some call to the Native American culture that's going to be, I just feel it is very warm in your heart, just a very deep sense of connectivity, of understanding, of love. So whatever you do, today or the next few days, just see if you can't connect with some portion or some little thing about the Native American community, in particular Native American history, that just resonates with you and is helpful to you when you sit down in your nighttime, when you go hunting for whatever this thing is that you're wanting to create, and maybe start talking to the ancestors, ask them politely, right? Don't just barge into the spirit world and go, hey, I need a Native American ancestor. Come over here. I need to interview you. It's that, don't do that. You wouldn't do that in real life, right? Okay. So, and this is real life. It's just a different form of real life. So don't do it in this life. You get where I'm going with this. So that's a lot for one Friday that's, full of love, but it is what it is. and I just wish, I wish I could shove all the crazy electricity bigness that I'm feeling in my whole chakra system up through my vagal nerve. The hairs on the back of my neck are standing up. I'm surprised my already spiky hair hadn't just gone like a puffer fish, because I'm just blown away by this. And please, I'm begging you. Once that you do your journeying, right? Once you sit in your nighttime, I don't care if it's the crack of dawn, it's got to be your nighttime where everything's quiet. You have time to focus. You set the intention. You do the ritual. Whatever comes into you, if you're comfortable, please post about it, because I just know miracles are going to happen. So I hope that was helpful. Pick up your copy of the Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck, which is where Mr. Coyote has come from, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Howl your faces and your heinies off today. And as always, stay wild.